Well, thank you everybody for coming to the atrium of City Hall. It's an exciting day for Harrisburg. I am very pleased to be able to introduce Mr. Otto Banks as the city's new Director of Economic Development. If there's one thing I learned from last year, it's that the fractures in our city politics run very deep. In fact, the greatest challenge that we have in front of us as a city is how we can bring people together. We need partnerships more than ever. We need to be able to engage in civil dialogue more than ever. And we need to be able to step outside of our comfort zones and create coalitions that are reflective of the city as a whole. And in appointing Otto Banks as our new Director of Community and Economic Development, I am trying to do just that. There are three words that came to mind when I was thinking about how to introduce Otto. I want to share those with you. These are characteristics which I think define him and what he brings to the job. The first is experience. And as Deputy Assistant Secretary for Economic Development at HUD, Otto supervised over 800 federal employees and managed a $14 billion portfolio. It's that great working relationship with HUD, which he's going to be able to bring day one to this job and really assist the city. It's also allowing us to reorganize and return building and housing under the direction of economic development. I want to take a moment and thank publicly Mr. Mark Woolley, who I think was here just a moment ago, but has done an amazing job in supervising that department in an interim role while we searched for an economic development director with experience working with HUD, and that's what we found. So thank you, Mark, and we're looking forward to building on the progress that we've made in repairing our relationship with HUD. The second term, which I would use to describe Mr. Banks, is bipartisanship. He has literally served on both sides of the aisle. That is going to help us. When we talk about a fractured civic culture in Harrisburg, we also have a fractured political culture. And we need to work to heal those divisions as well. And working on both sides of the aisle, as I've tried to do, will benefit Harrisburg's residents and taxpayers. And that's a strength which Otto can bring to this position. And finally, I want to talk a little bit about vision, and then I'll let Otto share some of his vision with you. But vision is incredibly important. I have had zero support up to this point from the council president in launching my guaranteed income plan for the city of Harrisburg. It is a vision that Otto shares with me, and he's going to take the lead in helping us champion that program for the city so that we can make it a part of our 2022 budget proposal before City Council. He's also going to be working on new partnerships with the Harrisburg School District and a focus on the new infrastructure bill and the funding and what that could mean for Harrisburg if that passes on the federal level. He brings vision, he brings energy, he brings experience, and he brings bipartisanship. It is my great pleasure to welcome to the podium Mr. Otto Banks. Otto.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor. Good afternoon, everyone. I appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedules. Mayor, I'd like to thank you as well for giving me this wonderful opportunity to once again serve the city of Harrisburg. To our friends in the media, thank you for taking the time out to come cover this event. Mr. Woolley, thank you for your leadership and expertise. I'm looking forward to working closely with you as well as the other members of the Department of Building and Housing. I'd also like to acknowledge Mr. Leland Nelson from the Harrisburg Black Chamber of Commerce, in addition to Dr. Karima Fitzgerald, who will also be playing a role in the near future with the Department of Health here in the city of Harrisburg. Emerson once stated that we shall see the world to be the mirror of the soul. His essential point was that our environment, our streets, our neighborhood, and our cities, and our government are reflections of each of us. Today, I step forward to do my part to ensure that our city government both reflects the best of our collective soul in addressing the diverse needs of the collective that is the city of Harrisburg. I am pleased to be here today to join Mayor Pappenfuss's team as Director of Economic Development in the city of Harrisburg. As unlikely as it may seem, in the eyes of many, it made perfect sense for the mayor and I, as we share very similar goals and ideals for the city of Harrisburg. Both of us have publicly pronounced on several occasions near identical policy objectives designed to improve the quality of life in the city of Harrisburg in the areas of public education, income inequality, public health, and of course, infrastructure improvements. The appointment represents a significant occasion for us to pursue those policy goals and objectives through a joint collaborative effort aimed directly at improving the climate of diversity, essential services, targeting economic opportunities in ways that, of course, improve the quality of life in the city. We will do so with the understanding that our sole job and purpose is to restore our collective hopes and dreams of what Harrisburg can be by rebuilding our neighborhoods, creating safe and secure communities, targeting resources, growing local businesses, securing jobs for our residents, and building a city where people want to come, stay, live, and above all else, prosper. A city where creative approaches to partnerships between public and private enterprise are embraced, leading to higher employment rates, the elimination of slum and blight, improved infrastructure, brownfield development, and creation of quality, affordable housing throughout our city. The economic development needs of our city are as diverse as the communities themselves, and this diversity must be recognized and celebrated. In the coming months, the mayor and I will focus on several key programmatic goals. First up will be the creation of the Mayor's Guaranteed Income Program, where most of our vulnerable citizens will receive between $500 and $1,000 per month for the next 2 years. That's correct. The mayor's program, he seeks to give the money back to our community. Again, between $500 and $1,000 to residents in our city who need it the most. This is a key priority for us and many of our community who need help now and can't afford to wait on anyone else's timetable. Second, there is no secret our children and families are hurting, as evidenced by recent events in the Harrisburg School District. We are going to partner with Senator John DeSanto, the Harrisburg School District, Dauphin County Commissioners George Hartwick, Harrisburg Area Community College, and local nonprofits, and invest city resources in creating year-round therapeutic, recreational, and educational programs for our children and adults in an effort to address long-standing issues that continue to plague our community. Third, we are going to meet with Pennsylvania's federal delegation to discuss President Biden's infrastructure bill and to advocate for Harrisburg's fair share of the resources. We are going to be a proactive team. We are going to go after resources that are going to benefit each and every resident in the city of Harrisburg. We will also meet and work with the trade unions to discuss enrollment strategies for Harrisburg City residents to be included in the apprentice programs. What that means, ladies and gentlemen, when the federal resources come in, we want to make sure that our residents are trained and ready day one to be able to work on these jobs that are created in the streets. We also will focus on, lastly, if we've learned anything from COVID-19 pandemic, we've learned that we must be prepared to adapt to changing circumstances in real time to protect the health and welfare of our families, neighbors, and communities. To this end, the mayor, Hamilton CEO Janine Peterson, and of course our own Dr. Karima Fitzgerald and I will begin laying the groundwork for full funding and functionality of the City of Harrisburg's Department of Public Health. It's impossible to have a thriving economy without a healthy, well-trained, and educated workforce. Although our plans are seemingly ambitious, the community can no longer afford to wait. As your new Director of Economic Development, I promise to serve our residents with fidelity and reaffirm my commitment to advance the interests of our city, guided by the values of duty, honor, and conviction. Together, Mayor Papenfuss and I and the rest of the city team are going to make good on achieving those goals and objectives I have laid before you today, and will do so with the urgency of knowing that there isn't another moment to waste. So with that being said, God bless the city of Harrisburg, Dauphin County, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and of course our nation. Thank you. I'd like to introduce Mr. Leland Nelson for a couple words, who of course is with the Harrisburg Black Chamber of Commerce. Mr. Nelson.
Thank you, Otto. This is very impromptu, but you got to be ready when it's time, when your name and number is called. I've been the president for 10 years at the African American Chamber of Central Pennsylvania, small business owner for 15 years, and Otto, I've been supportive of him on his campaign. And when this change was made, I had questions, just like many of you in the audience, but It's time to move forward. It's time to break these ecosystems and silos and move this city forward. There's $1 billion coming through the city of Harrisburg. And that's an underestimation right there. I think it's more than that. And we need to be involved in the training, the development, the diversity, inclusion, the supplier diversity of this whole entire city. So I appreciate you inviting me. I'm looking forward to supporting on behalf of our 80-plus members of the African American Chamber, and more to come. We stand ready to support the city in its efforts. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nelson.
Thank you. Thank you, Leland. It's good to have you here. Thank you for the good work that you do at the African American Chamber, and we're looking forward to furthering our partnerships across all aspects of economic development in the city. I have to say that I learned a lot from the past year, and the main lesson that I learned was that the fissures and the fractures and the divisions of Harrisburg run deep. And despite my efforts, and despite my belief in the fact that we need to come together and that we need to bring people together, something that I've striven to do since I've been mayor, I need help, and it's not something which can be done alone. And we need to, as I said, step out of our comfort zone, build alliances with people, sometimes alliances that are going to inspire us to think differently and see things in a new light. But that's what Harrisburg needs, because the divisions in Harrisburg hold us back as a community, and they keep us divided. And rather than speak to those divisions, we're trying to speak to the healing and the fact that we need to come together post those divisions in a new Harrisburg. That's my vision for the future of Harrisburg. I'm trying to embody that through the actions of this position and filling other posts, and it's something that I'm going to go out of my way to continue to do in an effort to heal Harrisburg.
I agree wholeheartedly with the mayor. Yes, we were opponents. There were some issues that I felt that needed to be addressed, and the mayor and I, of course, spoke after the election, and we came to an agreement that, I have a particular skill set that there's not too many in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania have. As you know, I was former undersecretary in charge of our entire nation's economic development. I used to oversee all the different programs in Department of Community Planning and Development, and currently, of course, every once in a while, HUD will bring me back as an expert consultant. And I have that skill set, and that's the same skill set that I'm bringing to the city of Harrisburg, so I can make sure that I change the trajectory of our entire community. While I was campaigning, many people felt as though that they were forgotten. The mayor realized that. He recognized that. And as a result of it, he said, Otto, come on board. We're going to work together to make sure that Harrisburg is a city that's inclusive, that all of us can be proud of.